Welcome to RM AI Insights, the podcast from RM Global, trusted leaders in collections and recoveries, supporting clients in more than 23 countries, operating from the UK, US, Australia, and New Zealand. We provide independent advisory, technology consultancy, and managed services to help deliver better outcomes for our clients and their customers. And before we start, we should mention this is probably the only collections and recoveries podcast hosted by AI. So if we sound a little too polished or never stumble over our words, that's why. But rest assured, the insights are real. Now, let's get to today's episode. I'm Ella, and this is episode 10, the final episode of this series. We've covered a lot of ground over the past 9 episodes, exploring how artificial intelligence, regulation and transformation are reshaping the collections and recoveries space.
And I'm James, Senior Business Development Manager here at RM Global. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been with us since episode 1, we're really glad you're here. Today's episode is all about reflection and looking forward. We're going to round off the series by highlighting some key lessons, the trends we're watching, and what we think the future holds for the industry.
Let's start with a bit of reflection. Across this series, we've had conversations on everything from system implementation and regulatory readiness to collection strategies and AI tooling. Each episode brought a slightly different angle, but collectively, they painted a pretty clear picture.
Yes, and for me, the big theme has been speed. Whether it's regulatory change like PER 24/2 or new technologies like generative AI, the speed of change in our sector has massively accelerated, and organizations are having to move faster, but with less room for error.
And that pressure has made the difference between success and failure really clear. We've seen firms who try to push through without planning and end up firefighting. But we've also seen organizations who invest the time in getting the foundations right, and they're now reaping the benefits. Let's dive into 5 lessons we've learned in the series.
All right, here's lesson number 1. AI is not a silver bullet, but it is a force multiplier. We've seen teams get faster at delivering change by using AI tools to accelerate requirements gathering, automate testing, and even document configuration. But success still depends on experienced teams, good governance, and a clear delivery framework. At RM, we supported a European bank running a migration who were struggling with test coverage. By embedding an AI-powered testing framework alongside their QA team, they cut cycle times in half. But the real benefit was freeing their senior testers to focus on complex edge cases. Without that blend of AI plus human expertise, the project would have stalled. Another example, we worked with a UK energy company on customer vulnerability assessments. They had thousands of historic case notes. Using AI, we helped surface key vulnerability indicators that were otherwise buried in text. That gave their agents better insights when speaking to customers. But critically, compliance teams still had oversight, making sure the AI wasn't creating blind spots.
That leads nicely into lesson 2. Compliance is no longer just about ticking boxes. It's about continuous oversight. With things like consumer duty and product sales data reporting, regulators are expecting organizations to be able to prove, in real time, that they're delivering fair and appropriate outcomes. We worked with a utility recently who wanted to redesign their arrears strategy. Rather than waiting until the regulator knocked on the door, we helped them build a live QA framework that continuously measured customer outcomes. That meant they could spot potential harm early, evidence fairness, and be confident in front of the regulator. And in financial services, we've supported clients to embed regulation by design, where every new journey has traceability and outcome testing built in. One client now has compliance representatives as part of sprint reviews. It slows delivery slightly in the short term, but it massively reduces the risk of rework later.
Lesson 3, you can't treat system implementation like a pure tech project. This came up again and again, and we even did a whole episode on the 7 most common implementation mistakes. The key point is, these are business transformations. You need engagement from ops, compliance, strategy, data, and IT. We had one client who originally positioned their migration as an IT project. Within weeks, it became clear that collections strategy, customer journeys, and compliance all needed redesign too. Once we brought the business side into design authority, things shifted. They stopped just replicating old processes and started building for the future.
Lesson 4. People are just as important as platforms. Even the most advanced technology can fall flat without the right change management. That includes clear training, support for frontline users, and communication that actually lands. One of my favourite examples this year was helping a client roll out a new digital self-serve channel. The tech was solid, but adoption lagged because agents weren't confident promoting it. We worked with them to create roleplay training and gave frontline teams the right messaging. And we've also seen how important tailored enablement is. A compliance analyst doesn't need the same training as a collections agent. In one recent project, we created different tracks of training material: frontline, operations, and technical. That meant everyone got what they needed to succeed, rather than one generic handover.
And finally, lesson 5. The winners are the ones who move from insight to action fast. You can have the best dashboards, the best MI, the best vendor, but if you're slow to respond to what the data is telling you, you miss the opportunity. A government agency we worked with had brilliant MI, but decisions were stuck in committee. By setting up agile governance, weekly reviews, empowered product owners, they could pivot in days instead of months. That meant when cost of living pressures hit, they were able to adapt collections journeys immediately, not after the damage was done. We've also seen banks that monitor repayment arrangements daily instead of monthly. That means they can intervene quickly if customers are struggling, adjusting the journey before it becomes a complaint or a regulatory issue.
Before we move on to future trends, what surprised you most this year, James?
Good question. For me, it's been how quickly generative AI went from an experiment in innovation labs to being part of delivery. We've had clients go from, "Should we try this?" to, "We're using AI to write customer comms and generate test cases," all within months.
For me, it's the cultural shift. We've seen frontline teams who were nervous about AI at first now asking, "What else can it do for me?" Once they see that AI doesn't replace their judgment, it makes their job easier. Adoption takes off.
So what does the future look like? Let's talk about what we're seeing across the industry. One big shift is in how AI will be embedded across the full change lifecycle. We're already seeing AI being used to support impact assessments, letter content generation, migration mapping, and even agent training through roleplay bots. At ARM, we've developed AI-powered test packs for Debt Manager and Power Curve. Instead of spending weeks scripting scenarios, clients can generate and validate tests in hours. That's the kind of orchestration we expect to see more of, where AI becomes a standard tool, not a side experiment.
Definitely. And we're also seeing a much bigger emphasis on real-time, continuous compliance. Tools are getting smarter, but so are regulators. For example, we recently helped a financial services client tag every decision point in their collections system with audit markers. That way, if a regulator asked, "Why was this customer put on that journey?" they could trace it back instantly with evidence. Another example. In the energy sector, we're helping clients use AI to monitor call quality in real time. That means they can identify vulnerability cues or potential mistreatments instantly, rather than months later through sample audits.
We also expect a continued push towards cloud-native, composable platforms. Organizations want flexibility. They don't want to be locked into 5-year upgrade cycles or monolithic systems. One large bank we've worked with now runs 4 specialist vendors across digital engagement, strategy, payments, and core collections. It gives them agility, but governance has to be watertight. Integration isn't just technical. It's about making sure journeys remain seamless for the customer.
And let's not forget about data. Firms are sitting on mountains of underutilized collections data. Our services are already doing this, like building underlying data structures, vulnerability scores, and propensity to pay models that sit alongside strategy engines.
One more trend, the evolution of talent and delivery models. With skills shortages in areas like testing, data, and platform configuration, more firms are exploring hybrid delivery, combining in-house knowledge with partner expertise, and increasingly using AI to plug capacity gaps. We've seen this in action where we embedded with a client's in-house team, giving them access to RM specialists for design and migration, while their own people focused on BAU. With AI accelerating the heavy lifting, It created a model that was faster, cheaper, and more resilient.
So, that's a wrap on Season 1 of Aram AI Insights. We hope these episodes have sparked ideas, challenged assumptions, and helped you feel a little more confident navigating change. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're facing a challenge right now, whether it's regulatory, operational, or technology related, we'd love to help. Until next time, I'm Ella.
And I'm James. Thanks for listening.
How Aram Global can help.
At Aram, we've been helping organizations across financial services, utilities, government, and telecoms to modernize collections for over 25 years. From advising on strategy, to guiding platform selection, to supporting delivery and ongoing optimization, we've seen what works, and we've helped clients avoid the common pitfalls.
Whether you're at the very start of your journey or already mid-transformation, we bring experience, frameworks, and independent insight to make sure change delivers the outcomes you need.
And importantly, it doesn't stop at implementation. We partner with our clients long-term to embed change, strengthen governance, and keep improving performance as the industry evolves. And if you've enjoyed this series, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep these conversations going.
Until next time, thanks for listening to Aram AI Insights. To learn more, visit aram-global.com or contact us directly.